Hey, my friend. Welcome back. This is your Sidereal astrology forecast for the week of April 7th through the 13th. Let's go ahead and dive into what this week we have going on in our sky. Hello, and welcome back to the Cosmic Mystic. Danny C. Mooney's here. If we have not met, hello. This is where we blend strategy and soul work to help you build a soul aligned life and business that fully supports your soul's mission. Now, I am your inner work alchemist, cosmic mystic, and creator of the Sacred CEO framework designed to help you stay grounded, aligned, and abundant as you expand your impact. For over 12 years, I've supported hundreds of conscious leaders in doing the deep soul work that is required for them to embody their highest expression so they can lead with confidence and authenticity. Each video here is to help you align to work with the energetic currents that are within you and around you, so that you can align with your sacred rhythm and step boldly into your purpose and create from a place of deep alignment. So let's dive in, my friend. As I always mention to you, we do have this in a podcast format. So if you are watching this on YouTube, you get to see all of the charts. You get to see my crazy faces that I usually make during these videos, and yeah, you get to see all of that. Now if you're like, I want to take you in my earbuds, I want you in the car with me, I want you while I'm working, I want you while I go for on a walk or doing chores around the house, which is what you've told me you've watched these or listened to these, then come on over to the podcast, the Cosmic Mystic podcast. You can find it here on the YouTube channel and all of the social media, the podcast platforms, not social media platforms, although I do have a social media account for the Cosmic Mystic as well. All right, so last thing before we dive in, April, if you are like, what's going on in April? Because I'm going to talk about what is happening this week in particular. If you want to know what is happening for the entire month, you want to hear about the new moon, the full moon, and all of the major transits that are happening, then definitely check out our April forecast. Our April forecast has the entire overview of everything that is going on. Okay, we're ready to dive in. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen for you here on YouTube, and we're going to dive in. So first off, I love to do the very first thing, which is the state of the planets. So let's dive in to the state of the planets here. All right, we've got Chiron in Pisces. We've got the sun in Pisces. We've got Neptune in Pisces, our North Node in Pisces, Mercury in Pisces, Saturn in Pisces, and Venus in Pisces, who is going to be wrapping up, not ratching, but wrapping up her retrograde this week. We've also got Pluto over here in Capricorn, our South Node in Virgo, our moon over here in Cancer as we start this week. Mars is in Cancer, moved last week. We've got Jupiter over here in Taurus and Uranus in Taurus. Now, Uranus changed signs in March, as well as Saturn changed signs in March. We will see Jupiter change signs in May, which we'll be talking about coming up in May. Okay, let's talk about our sun. And as you can see, we still have a lot of this planetary alignment that we've been talking about for the past couple of months. There are all still right here. We've got some conjunctions here with Venus and Saturn, with Mercury, with the North Node, and we've really got this connection over here with Chiron and the sun, which has been bringing a lot of the wounds to the surface, my friend. So let's talk about that conjunction here with Chiron, because this kicked off on Sunday, the 6th of April, and is going to be in that conjunction for about probably a couple of weeks. So around the 18th or so of April, it will shift out. The planets will move, and particularly the sun will move away from Chiron, and we'll see that start to shift. So let's talk about this. So Chiron is our past wounds, it's our traumas. And so, whenever we're talking about it coming in with the sun, again, I talk about conjunctions as like your roomies. Either, Chiron's hanging out and the sun comes to visit. And now the sun is there to illuminate the wounds, the traumas that we have had. It's bringing them to light and helping us see them as a source of strength, recognizing that this is part of who we are and what has built us into the person of who we are. So this is always a healing opportunity for us whenever we see Chiron with the sun, because it's bringing things forward. Now, I will say it's not always easy to see those things or to hear those things, because they're being brought into our focus, brought into our consciousness, where, if we are not somebody who generally deals with things, we're going to have to, we're going to be forced to, in some ways, to see them, to face them, to work on them. My friend, they are your greatest growth opportunities. So I'm going to invite you to not shy away from them, but to actually fully step into them and move through them. It doesn't have to be as messy as you might think. Okay, let's talk about the next one that's coming in here. And that is going to be Mars. So on the 9th, we're going to see Mars come into play. And it's actually going to come in later in the day, in the afternoon, with on the 9th. And you'll see this square over here. So what does that mean? And this one, first off, is going to be here for pretty much the rest of the month, all the way through the very beginning of May. This is testing our character. This is where we are getting into that energy of competition, of conflicts. And I talked about this in the April overview forecast. This is where we might start to see some reckless behavior. We might see some irritability, some impatience, definitely some conflicts happening, especially as it relates to the ego, because egos love, 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 especially if you have not worked with your ego. If you bought into the idea of your ego, death to the ego is not your friend, right? I have the complete opposite perspective on that, and that is the ego is your amigo. It is your friend, and we want to befriend the ego. We want to work with the ego, because it's here to guide us and it's here to support us. And so when we can work with it, that's what's really going to help in this situation. But I'm going to tell you, you might start to feel some buildup of negative energy. There might be some anger, resentment that is wanting to come through, conflicts. Be careful of accidents. This is also something that can come through, exhaustion, because you're taking on all the things. So one of the things that I always recommend with certain configurations, transits that we have with Mars or Aries, is to always make sure that you are releasing that energy in a very constructive way. So go for a walk, do some exercise, something physical that you like to do. So I am not somebody who loves to go and work out at the gym. I do, however, love to take Zumba classes. I do, however, love to dance my butt off. So if that's the case, then I'm definitely going to put on some music and I'm going to dance my way through this. I'm going to release that energy through some dancing, or I'm going to do some somatic breath work. Somatic breath work was really getting into the body. And so I'm going to go through a breath work practice to get that energy out of me, because for me, breath work becomes very physical because my body needs to move that energy through it. So my friend, whatever it is for you, however you want to express that energy, I always say the physical energy, releasing of energy is great during this. But if that's not your forte, if you're like, Danny, I don't go to the gym, I don't like the gym, I don't like breath work, that's fine. Find a way for you to release that energy, or it's going to come out, my friend, through frustration and anger with probably people that you don't want it to come out with, or it causes more of a mess, right? All right, let's keep going. Next star on agenda here, our sun will be leaving Pisces and moving into Aries. So let's talk about that, because it's going to get a little heated up in here, my friend. All right, we have Aries right here at 29 degrees, Pisces, which means it's right there at the end. And we'll see as we get into later into the day here, right here around 5 o'clock, the sun moves into Aries. So from here's point on, with all that I said, with that conjunction with Chiron, I'm going to tell you, and this square with Mars, that things are going to get even more intense as we get to this point right here on the 13th, because the sun will be out of Pisces, which, Pisces, it's a little dreamy, it's a little more passive. It's definitely that spiritual connection. But Aries is give it to me now. It's instant gratification. It is ruled by the planet Mars, who is the warrior. And so this is going to definitely be a little bit more intense as we move through this beginning part of Aries season and into May. So Aries is the very first sign of the zodiac. So this is our new year. When we look at the astrology year or the zodiacal year, we look at Aries is the very beginning. It's the baby. This is why in tropical astrology, this is where spring, right? Spring happens. They base it on the first day of spring, which is like March 20th, somewhere in that realm, 21st, 22nd, right? In that realm, that's spring. And so Aries kicks that off for us. In sidereal astrology, right, we look at what's actually happening in our sky, what's actually going on. And the sun is not in Aries until here, until April 13th. We'll see it shift into Aries. So it being ruled by Mars, there's definitely more of a fire energy here. It's a hot energy. And so it's a very active energy. It's also rules over our first house. It's the element of fire, and it's a cardinal sign. So cardinal signs are the initiator. They're the signs that get us going. And they're like the start of something. So with Aries, one of the things that you're going to want to do is, if they're the best way to use this energy is to start something, to launch something, to do something, because Aries is that starter energy. If you've been hesitant to, get into action around something or to do something, whether that's a habit, to make an offer, to put something out there, Aries is that time of like, okay, let's just go and do it. And it's like, it's almost as if you're doing it messy. It's like, you don't think about it. You're like, I'm just going to do it. Right. And it's like, you get that like feeling of like, here we go, and you make that decision really quick, or you move forward with something. It's a very vibrant energy. So we're more likely to take action on something during the sign, which absolutely, let me just say, this is your best time, if you haven't figured it out yet, to make an offer, to sell your stuff, my friend. I always say this with the moon, but when we've got the sun, our consciousness wanting to make those quick decisions, wanting to solve the problem that we have, that your solution, your business is the solution for, my friend, this is it. This is the time. So there is, as I said, lots of energy to burn. So make sure that you are doing that during this season, because if not, it's going to fester within the body and it's going to come out in ways that you probably don't want it to come out, or it's going to it's going to cause rumblings, let's just say, dis-ease in the body. All right, let's keep going with our moon, because we also have a full moon happening here on, let me get back to my day here on the 12th. And this is taking place in the evening. Oh, go back to the 12th. This is taking place in the evening, 7:22 p.m. And this is a super moon, my friend. So let me tell you what a super moon is. So let me share my screen. I just realized I am not sharing my screen. So let me do that for you. All right. Here we go. So this full moon taking place on February, Danielle, April 12th. Yes, my friend, I do not edit my videos. They are one take, one shot, or else I won't do them. So this is taking place on April 12th, 7:22 p.m. This is a supermoon, which all it means is that it's close to the Earth. In its rotation, the moon around Earth, there are times where it is closer to Earth and where it's farther away from Earth. And so when it's closer, it appears to be bigger. Okay, so that's what a supermoon is. Now, I want you to think of that. If the moon is already pretty intense and it's already affecting our water, right? We see this with beaches, with the ocean, with the high tides and the low tides. And when we think about this, a supermoon, that energy is very, very close. If there's anything that is very, very close to you, the intensity increases. You can also think of this of like when you're in a in-person event, and it's great as a virtual event, but when you're in person, like there's just like a high energy, right? I know I've done some in-person events this year, and I'm like, it's just a different vibe. And so it's more intense. And so that's all this supermoon is going to be. So let's talk about this full moon, supermoon in Virgo on the 12th. So we have a couple of things happening. As you can see, we've got a square with actually, let me change it to the moon here so you can see the square over here to Mars. We've also got this trine over here to Jupiter, and we've got this opposition to Chiron. So this full moon being in Virgo, first off, Virgo is an earth sign, and it is the opposite of Pisces, where Virgo is very much in the material. It's in the day-to-day tasks, the way we are of service, the way that we are taking care of our bodies. And Pisces is more about transcending the 3D. It's more about stepping into the 5D. It's more about connecting to spirit and other realms and being in the dream world and really taking us out of the 3D reality. And so, because of that, there's this opposition within us, opposing ideas of getting things organized and getting things together versus being within the other realms. Now, Virgo is known for its perfectionism. It is the sign that perfects things, and it can definitely get caught up in wanting to perfect something, wanting to achieve something, where Pisces is like, I'm ready to move forward. I'm ready to move on. I'm ready to connect in with the divine. So, working with this moon in your personal growth, your self mastery, and business, this is a time for you to look at those imperfections. Use this time to recognize those flaws and how they can be a source of your strength and your uniqueness, the unique qualities of you. My friend, I do not like my imperfections. I will be the first to tell you. And the more and more I've learned to embrace those quirks within me, the more I have felt at ease within myself and the things that I do. Any frustration that you might be having, especially as it relates to productivity, or maybe it's around getting things done, this square to Mars can be that fuel for you to tackle those projects. We're also talking about, we are entering Aries season here. So this is at 29 degrees Pisces, our sun is in, right? And it's going to shift over the next day into Aries. So again, this is a great time to start that thing, to take a project maybe, and that's a little bit more challenging and actually have the energy to do it. This is also because of Jupiter's influence. We've got the expansion of knowledge. And so expanding our skills in particular, because we are talking about Virgo, is what skills are you going to need, or what skills do you need in order to complete the thing that you're wanting to do. So, when we look at the lunar cycle, the new moon is setting that intention of what we desire. The full moon is the time for us to celebrate how far we've come, release anything that is not serving us or part of that bigger intention, like oh, we don't need that. It's like the extra little details. Like we don't need to deal with that. This particular full moon is like, okay, what skills do I need to amplify or do I need to build upon that's going to help me achieve this thing? Because I don't know about you, but sometimes I'll get into something that I want to manifest and I'm like, wait, there's something else I need here, or there's something I need to learn or I need to remember. And that is what this Virgo energy is here for us. And then the last thing is looking at any of those insecurities or doubts, especially with as it relates to our professional persona. Okay, moving on to, we've got a couple more things I want to talk about, and that is we have Mars and Pluto. So, Mars and Pluto. So, I'm going to come over here to Mars, and you're going to see here this opposition to Pluto. Now, this comes into play on the 12th. So, this is at the very edge of the week, but Mars again being that fire energy and Pluto being that really depth, like transformational energy that's really powerful. There's intense power struggles and conflicts here. So I mentioned we're moving into Aries. We've got that connection with the sun and Mars. And now we've got this Mars opposition Pluto. Conflicts may arise, my friend. We might not only see this in our external world, but in our internal world and our reality, the things that are around us. So there's a tendency here to assert control, to want to dominate, hidden fears or insecurities, things that are hidden are brought to the surface, right? They're brought to light. Manipulative behavior can definitely come through with this. Psychological warfare is absolutely common during this. Balancing assertiveness and cooperation is going to be key here. And so, whether that is within your own realm or in the external world, I'm going to recommend that you stay as grounded as you possibly can and stay within your power. Every day, call your power back to you because I can guarantee you that your power is getting attacked, is getting drained by other things, especially right now with all the things that are happening in the world that we're seeing on media, whether that's social media or whether that's on our TV screens or in our podcasts. There's so much, my friend. So I'm going to invite you to unplug from the collective. Two things here: unplug from the collective, and number two, call your power back. Number three is to stay grounded in your own energy. All right, let's look at a couple of more things that are happening. And this one in particular is with Venus. And Venus does come out of retrograde. So the area of our relationships, that is going to start moving forward. We do have this square that is happening here with Jupiter that comes into play here on the 13th. So right here on Sunday. So this is all coming at the end of the week. It's like we're chilling through the week and then bam, all of this starts to come in. Now, Venus here, we might take on too much. We want to have more fun. It's like all about play. It's like I've done some hard work. I'm tired of the BS. I'm ready to play. I want to play. So it might be harder for you to stay committed to your work, or you might just take on so much because you're feeling so good and you're like, oh, yeah, I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. And then you're completely exhausted, especially with that Aries energy coming in right here. And this transit is only a few days. It's right here at the very beginning of our next week. And so you might commit to all of these things. And then it's like, oh, crap, I have to do this. And your energy is not quite there. So be mindful of that as well. And then the last thing thing is Venus and Neptune. So we have the conjunction here with Venus and Neptune coming in on right here. So Venus is right down here at 0 degrees. Neptune is right here at 6 degrees. Now, Mercury, our North Node, and Saturn are also all conjunct, and they all have been conjunct since March. Now, and Venus has also been conjunct, but it's been retrograde. And so I wanted to point this out because now we're moving things forward, right? And so with Venus conjunct Neptune, and this is going to be all the way through about mid-May, new romances, new spiritual bondings. There is the difficulty getting motivated. That is definitely something that's a little bit of a struggle here, because Venus loves to just be in its beauty, dreamy, artistic vibe, and Neptune just amplifies that with that dream world. So you might be drawn to more beautiful things, wanting to avoid anything that's harsh or hard or more aggressive. Our compassion is very, very high here, wanting to care for others, wanting to take care of people, wanting to do some charity work. I'm just going to remind you to remember that what I just said about Jupiter, make sure that you're not overdoing it, that you're also filling your own cup, because my friend, you matter. All right, my friend, that wraps us up for this week's Sidereal Astrology Forecast, April 7th through the 13th, well, through the 13th. Yeah, through the 13th. If you would like to learn more about what is happening in our sky, if you want to learn more about Aries, I put out a guidebook. Now, this week it is going to be changing. So next week we will have a spring guidebook out, which is going to cover the first three zodiac signs in spring. So it's going to cover Aries, it's going to cover Taurus, and it's going to cover Gemini. So you're going to get a good taste of what those three energies are so you can plan ahead. Now, in the past, as I have right now, currently, our Pisces guidebook, I was doing it by zodiac season. But what I realized is it's great to have it every single month, but what if you, like me, are a planner and you want to see what's happening ahead of the game? So this moving forward, we are going to have a spring guidebook, which will come out at the beginning of Aries season, which is next week. We will then have a summer one that will come out at the beginning of Cancer season, and so on. So we'll have 4 guidebooks come out every single year. Right now, it is currently free. And I can tell you it is over, I've been working on it. It's over like 100 pages because it's got so much in it. So when you download the guidebook that we have right now, our Pisces, you are automatically going to get that spring guidebook. For right now. Now, I will say that there is going to be a charge for it moving forward, but as of right now, it is absolutely free. So go download this Pisces one inside. Oh, here's why you're going to want to download it. It has everything you want to know about that particular zodiac sign. So everything you want about Pisces. It's also got journal prompts in there weekly for you to explore. It's got affirmations for you to work with. It has rituals that you can do for that particular season, that zodiac season. It also has crystals you can work with. It has our new moon and full moon information in there. So it's my intention, and especially moving forward with the spring guidebook, is that this is your guidebook, your companion for the season to work through, to go through things as the season unfolds. All right, my friend, that is it for us today. All of those links are down below and more in our description and our show notes. All right, my friend, enjoy the rest of your day. And until next time, remember to keep shining your unique light. Bye.